Hello everyone, welcome to our second class on the theories of law. Today we are going to discuss those theories we talked about in our former class. Do tag along. Do not forget to subscribe, hit that bell and also that like button. Let's begin. The Natural School of Thought. Major proponents of this school include St. Thomas Aquinas, Grotius and Zeus. The natural law theory argues that there are certain objective principles in every man, no matter his race or color. Those principles tell him what is fair, just, and right, encouraging him to do what is good and abstaining from what is evil. These principles come from some abstract universal truth and exist despite any human enlightenment. In essence, it means through thoughtful examination of the facts of nature, man can find the just solution to the social issues in his society. By observation and reason, man has the ability to make good and just law that accord to the law of nature. To this school, any man-made law which does not accord with the law of nature should not command the obedience of the people. Criticisms. The natural laws consider the right reasoning as a guide for discerning the most perfect forms of law. However, right reasoning is a subjective concept, given that it cannot be subjected to empirical scrutiny and interpretation. It has also been said to house imaginary laws. It also suffers from multiple conscious issues, given that different individuals from different backgrounds may have different conceptions of fairness, rightness, and justice with regard to the same problem. On the basis of this, it can be argued that the theory could lead to lawlessness if everyone is permitted to act according to what he or she believes to be right or just, as dictated by his or her action without any sanction. The positive school. The concept itself was derived from the word posit, which means to put or to place. Positive law is therefore the law put or placed or imposed upon situations by rulers. The main proponent of the theory is John Austin, who postulated the command theory of law. He defined law as a command set by a superior being to inferior beings and enforced by sanction. In simple terms, law according to this school is the command of the uncommanded commander, which is backed by sanction. Positive law is any law made by a person legally empowered to make rules having binding effect on the people in general. This can be in the form of constitution or statutes enacted by the legislature. The Austinian approach has been argued on many grounds. It is wrong to assume that all laws are commands as postulated by Austin. An example is the rules relating to wills, which does not mandate a person to write a will, and also the issue of uncommanded commander is only possible in dictatorial regimes, where the country is not ruled by the rule of law, but by the whims and caprices of the dictator. Austin also wrongly assumed that everyone usually respects the law because of fear of sanction by the sovereign. It can be argued that a number of people respect the law not because of fear, but because it is in tandem with their way of life. The Bentham theory of positivism, also called the utilitarian school. The chief proponent of this school is Jeremy Bentham. According to this theory, law should encourage communal utility, which in this context is about people's happiness. The greatest good of the greater number of people should be the basis of making the appropriate laws in society. Bentham identifies four major utilities, which include security, equality, liberty, and abundance. To attain the utilitarian goal, the law must balance the individual's interest with that of the communal interest. The freedom of individuals can be sacrificed or curtailed to achieve the greater good for the society. The main criticism of this school is that it does not resolve the issue of balancing both individual and communal interest. Neither does it state how best to achieve this. The historical school of thought. This theory argued that proper law must follow the history and customs of a country. Friedrich Karl von Savigny, a German aristocrat, played a prominent role in developing this theory. The concept argues that the law originates from customs and is based on the belief that rules of customary law are rational and fair. Savigny introduced the theory of MARXIST. According to this theory, law evolved as the language by a slow process, and just as language is a peculiar product of a national genius, so is the law. It was criticized on the ground that some of this customary law rule have been used to subject some class of people to status of servitude, prejudice, inheritance issues, and labor matters. The realist school of thought. Realist theory of law is interested in the actual working of the law rather than its traditional definition. It provides that law is what the judges decide in court. According to this theory, rules not put to use to solve practical cases are not laws but merely existing as dead words. Law gets life only when applied in reality, according to this school. Therefore, it is the decision given by the judge, not the legislators, that is considered as law, according to this theory. This theory has its basis in the common law system, in which the decision previously given by a court is considered as a precedent to be used as law to decide future similar cases. This is not applicable in the civil law legal system, and as a result, this theory has been criticized by scholars and countries that run on legislations. This implies that the lawmaker in civil law legal system is the legislative body and not the judge. The followers of this theory include Justice Holmes, Lawrence Friedman, John Chapman Gray, Jerome Frank, and Carl N. The Marxist school of thought. This theory was propounded by two major philosophers, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Karl Marx developed the economic theory of law based on a level of social and economic development that determines the nature and content of law. All laws to Marx can be interpreted as manifestation of the interests of the dominant ruling class because of their economic position. The normative school of thought, also called the pure theory of law. It was propounded by Professor Hans Kelsen. The main argument here is that the legal validity of each rule is determined simply by reference to the question whether it has been laid down or posited in line with whatever requirements as stipulated by the legal system in question. Kelsen opines that a law is a norm. In essence, a law is valid if it has been created by a norm which itself has been created by a higher norm within the legal order. The logical connection of norm has to be in order until we arrive at a non-law created entity, which is called ground norm. The theory has been criticized on the basis that it only emphasizes the formal validity of law rather than its function and effect in the society. Secondly, determining the ground norm as a constitution in the modern society is hard. The argument that the constitution is the ground norm remains largely controversial. With respect to the Nigerian situation, if it is strictly scrutinized, as it can be asked further, whether the current constitution derives its validity from the military or from the people. Who created the constitution? Does it reflect the wishes of the people? If no, can an imposed constitution by the military be truly regarded as a ground norm without the inputs from the citizens in a democracy? The question remains debated. The sociological school. The leading founder of this school is Roscoe Pound. This school of thought disregarded law as a norm or command of the sovereign, but considered law as social engineering. Law can be used to achieve social control in society. Written laws or rules have no value in the eye of the sociological school of thought, but it values the law in action. In other words, law cannot be made, interpreted, and applied without referring to social facts. The social engineering developed by this school is the method to be used in solving conflicting interests in the society. That's it for this class, guys. I've seen some really interesting comments and I appreciate them. Keep the comments coming, keep your suggestions coming, and thank you till we meet again in our next class.